we're all worth so much, and all of us can do. Actually, I have a saying that you can do whatever you want to do. It's so extremely important to not live in your own little cubicle, but that you open up to the world with a curious mind and say, how? That emoji.
Yeah.
How can it be that just if you have a dream, don't give up, and you might experience many bumps on the road before you get there, but it's never too late, and keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Welcome to Denmark Real. My name is Amar. With me today is Rikke Dige. Rikke, you have a master degree in China and in international relations. You also work with Intercultural Communications, global team development trainer, work with the relationship building and networking. Welcome to you, Rikke.
Thank you very much, Emma.
I'm happy that you're back from China in time.
I'm very happy also. It was really last minute call, and it was not even planned. And in Shanghai, we didn't know about the corona happening in Wuhan until actually end of January, even though it began December 8th.
Yeah.
So it was really
Last minute call.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
What brought you to China? Why the interest in the Chinese culture and the work and the business approach?
Well, actually, the interest in China started already when I was 5.
5?
Yes, because I was partly brought up with my grandparents, and they had a loft, and up there were various things from when they lived at a farm. And crawling around and looking through old stuff, I found Chinese checkmate, or a Chinese check. Huh? And Chinese check, for the people who don't know, is a star-shaped foundation or platform with glass balls of different colors, shiny glass balls. Yeah. So I was playing around, and obviously I didn't know how to do it, but what I did know, or what I did think I knew, was how to read the manual. And the manual was in Chinese. And so I was walking around the house practicing how to pronounce these different characters without knowing anything about it. And whenever my grandparents had guests over, I would always be like, listen to this. I just read this manual out loud and then showing them the characters. And so with that in mind, when I turned 12, I got a set of window color. And for the people that are much younger than me, window color is painting that you do on plastic, rip it off and put it on the glass. Yeah. Windows, for instance, or cars or whatever. And the only thing I drew was the Chinese characters from my memory, and then obviously started using the internet, and I didn't know anything about what the characters meant. They were all over my room, my speakers, the bass, everything. And then it was kind of put aside until I started university when I was 19, and I did a bachelor's in German and international business communication because I was very interested in the German market, and they are a great player on the market and influences Denmark very much also today. And so in the middle of your study, you have to choose a secondary focus. Yeah. And so I was offered this new secondary focus that was called Chinese Area Studies. And I was thinking immediately, that's like, there was a sharp relation to back then when I was a child. And so there was no way that I wouldn't do this. So I had already applied for a university in Constance in Germany because I was studying German. And then we were told that those of us that had chosen this area could go to a Chinese-speaking country. And from growing up with a very business-oriented dad, my first thought was, this is the one and only time where my travel outside Europe will be paid, because it was a joint venture, or a joint relation with this university, and also I got my SU with me, so I was thinking, ding, it's only a win-win. So I applied for a university that's called Fudan, very renowned university in Shanghai, south of Shanghai in China, and then Lingnan University in Hong Kong. And Lingnan responded first. And so December 6th, in the very winter storm and with flight cancels and everything, 2010, I traveled to Hong Kong. So back then I was 21, so 10 years ago. And that was where my adventures kicked off.
You travel a lot, right? You have been in many places.
I have traveled a lot, yeah. Primarily in Asia. I think I just fell in love with the whole, it was just so different. And it was like having grown up in our generation with the American movies from New York, where they pass by Soho and you see all these Chinese signs and you hear all the and you see that they serve sushi and longevity noodles and it just reminded me of the fires, the chefs behind and so Hong Kong was so different, but it back then I didn't really know much, but Hong Kong is a mixed culture to some extent, because Hong Kong is a part of, it borders China, so it is very Chinese, but also it's close to Macau, which is an old Portuguese colony. And Hong Kong was really back then, 2010, and is still an epicenter for business. So business people would really come in and out, and it's just this bustling, always that kind of atmosphere, always something going on. And so I was 21 and I was just trying to embrace all of it, just jumping into opportunities. And then I just met so many people, and I had no idea how to handle all the opportunities that were presented to me. But I remember one time I went out, and for people that have ever gone to Hong Kong, there's this area where you go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's called Lang Kwai Fong. It's like a square. And I met a German banker, and he offered me a job in Handelsbanken in Nuremberg or Hamburg or something like that. I just remember it was back then when we didn't really have WeChat and LinkedIn and stuff. So I just collected all these business cards. And I had, when I left Hong Kong that year, I had a folder stacked like this, but I couldn't recognize, and I hadn't done notes or anything. So just threw them all out. And today I'm thinking it would have been fun to pick up some of them and just text them, be like, I'm in Hamburg next week. I have your business card from that back then. Not with the aim of getting a job, but just, would you want to meet? Because people, I feel like the era that we live in today, people are extremely open to meet new people and engage with people that they have engaged with a long time ago and maybe forgotten over the years. And
what is the importance of relationships and networking? Because this is a part of what you were doing there.
Mm-hmm. And it very much has been a part of what I have been occupied with over the past many years. To me, building relations is about creating opportunities for yourself, I think I would say. When you start to engage with the world, different things present themselves to you. And I think it is so true that we see how many people today get a job through network. It's up to 80% of the jobs that are being occupied that have actually gone through network. It doesn't have to be an internal colleague. It can also be somebody that knows somebody that has been a chairman in a board for that company, and then that way through. So for me, networking is the process of leaving your own cubicle and then getting out and greeting the world and showing yourself we're all worth so much, and all of us can do. Actually, I have a saying that you can do whatever you want to do, you can just not do everything at the same time. So life is all about priorities.
Yeah.
So you have to choose what's most important to you, and then you are responsible for pursuing your own dream, because only you can be held accountable when we're standing in front of the door, knocking and entering haven.
Hopefully.
So I think it's so much about us being responsible for ourselves. Right now, I don't recall. I think it was a podcast that I recently heard with Sean Stevenson, who runs the very interesting podcast called The Model Health Show, but he's really a fitness and nutrition expert. And he had a guest that said that we should really start being 100% accountable for what happens in our lives, not 80% and not 90%, and not it was raining or the bus didn't arrive or the traffic is... We know most of these things, or we can prepare ourselves for them at least. It's not until we start taking 100% accountability for what is happening in our world that we really progress and are able to pursue our dreams. So not 80%, not 90%, 100%. Upfront, be prepared. And of course, I agree that sometimes we just have to try to nail it, because you can't always be 100% prepared, but you can do a lot. And I think more than being physically prepared and practically prepared is being mentally aware and being mentally ready to hear that what happens to me is my fault, or it's on me.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have seen this. I just came back from Shanghai, as you said, and one of my very best friends, her dad runs a bigger management consulting company in China. He is situated in Beijing, and she is the head responsible for the office in Shanghai. And he's a very smart guy, and he recently wrote on his Facebook LinkedIn, on how the rumors in Europe were that we were importing masks during Corona from China that didn't live up to the standards, and how the Chinese government were responsible for keeping in mind that there are 1.4 billion people in China, and that you have just around, I don't remember on a national basis, but I think it's plus 1,000 companies, or maybe even many more. This is very modest. Companies that open up every day in China, and so the government can't necessarily control everything that happens. And you have a registration number, like the CVR number here in Denmark, and you open and you expand and you sell to Europe, and if you have clients, well, quick money. But what he wrote was, instead of us taking a position of being the victim, then we should look into what are the channels, what are the sources, what is the chain supply, and who are the suppliers. Hire a company. This wasn't a commercial for his company, but hire a company like his that where the people transport themselves to the actual plant and talk to the managers and see the plant and verify the products. Like, we just buy in blindness, and then we complain. So instead of being a victim in our own lives, maybe we should take one step back and say, is this good enough?
Yeah. Take responsibility again, right? Yeah. Okay, Jocko Willings, he said extreme ownership. It's a mindset of taking extreme ownership of all the things that happen to you in your life. Because yes, it will rain, the camera could go off, the microphone could go off also, but figure out a way. Like you cannot complain that things broke.
Exactly. And I think adding to his absolutely very truthful statement, I think is things, just know that things won't always go as planned. To have that in mind. So being extremely, or taking extreme responsibility, but yes, and then just know that so many of the things in life that we plan in some way won't go as planned. And so part of me is trying to learn that I can't plan everything, and maybe I shouldn't plan everything, because it's 10, 20 something percentage is anyway not gonna go as planned. And so instead of being so disappointed when things don't go as planned, try to be a little bit open to, okay, so what are the alternatives, or how can I then nail it? Because we can all nail it. we just have to not be fixed on this one, having one thing in mind, or wanting one outcome and only being willing to accept that one outcome. Be open to opportunities, and really, I think one of the things that we're also going to talk about today is failures. And you already implied that a little bit before I arrived here, and 100% from my perspective, some of the things that have taught me the most in life are my failures, and it's the smacks that I remember. It really is. And I was talking to somebody that has been a part of my life for the past many years, and I said to him that when I talk about my lives in Asia, oftentimes I mention all these obstacles that I met along the way, and challenges that I was facing, and but that these were actually the bumps on the road that have made me become who I am today. In general, I can be many things, but like a life perspective, or how I approach life, is very much with humbleness, like being humble, and knowing for a fact that I don't know everything, and I will never know everything. So don't presume, and don't imply, and don't think anything. Try to not be judgmental, but every time I meet somebody or something that I'm facing, I'm trying to ask how and why, like why, taking a step back and then asking why is this like this.
Failures are important, because it's not about failing. It's about maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe that. I see it like that.
Which is very related to one of my big failures in life. What you were just mentioning now. Maybe it was not about the fact that I couldn't do it, but maybe I was just not ready to do it. Very much.
Your passion for people. What fascinates you about people?
The differences.
Yeah?
I think having operated with different cultures for a very long time, what fascinates me about people is how we act and behave in a social gathering with other people. So who are we behind the scenes, and who are we on stage in the interaction with people? We always say that we shouldn't judge, but truly that's the only thing that we really can do, or in a softer version, estimate. And the only way that we can try to grasp things is to compare it with experiences that we've had in our lives. Because how would you know when somebody says, imagine a blue sky? You can only imagine a blue sky because you've seen a blue sky. Or imagine this guy with a scarf, or this lady in a red dress, or it's only because we've experienced it or seen it. And I've been a team trainer for many years for Denmark's largest team building company. And I've been working with people in all industries, ages, religions, beliefs, different genders, everything, groups, teams, individuals, and we do small exercises. For instance, we do a pointing exercise, and people that have tried team building have probably tried it. But I ask everybody to get up and then point to somewhere in the sky, or if we're indoor, inside the room, and then start going clockwise. So you point at 12 o'clock and then you start going clockwise. And you go clockwise and you focus very much on your finger, and that's the only thing that you are looking at until you get in front of your eyes and you find, for instance, a partner. And then you keep going clockwise. And then when I ask the people to stop and look at their finger, I ask them in what direction they're going. And then half of them go like, they get embarrassed. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't even go clockwise. And the other half is like, we'll try again. And so we try again, the whole team, and then eventually somebody will say, oh, perspective. Yeah. And I think that is so true, and it's such an easy exercise. It takes your finger or your hand or whatever you can point with to understand that the way that we see things depend on the perspective that we have when we see them. Yeah. So what approach are we walking in through the door with? Was it raining and we're smashed with and annoyed and the traffic jam and blah, blah? Or was it, this is not necessarily practical, it's also mentally. Yeah. Is the sun shining? Are we open to a new day? Like, from which perspective are we seeing things? Means a lot to how we approach life and thereby people. Yeah. And the other exercise that we do is that we build Lego. It's also a very known exercise, but it is still very funny. So you have a small tin box, and everybody gets their own box, and then I would typically ask the audience, do you know what a duck looks like? Like rah, rah, rah. Everybody knows what a duck looks like because they've seen it and experienced them. And so I tell them in 10 seconds, you have 10 seconds to build a duck. And then you will see different, I've been working a lot with profiles, so you will see the profiles that are sitting with the tin box and almost can't wait and are like, I'm gonna outcompete all of you, like I'm gonna win, like big time. I'll show you in a minute. And then you have the people that are like super enthusiastic, woo, I get, and what kind of colors, and wonder how I can, and I would wish that I had 10 tin boxes, I could build a whole wonderland. And then you have the people that look around and they get a little concerned and they're like, oh, how am I gonna approach, and what are the people gonna think, and what if I can't handle, and and where should how can I hide if I don't succeed? And then you have the people that go like, 6 Lego bricks can be 1, 2, 3 layers, and then that wide, and then I don't have enough. Being analytical about it. And then when they open, they start building, and there are 6 bricks. And you always see different versions. And people oftentimes get very surprised. You have a 12 team and you have 12 different ducks. You have a team of 33, you have 33 different ducks. And when I then tell them that there are plus 6,000 combinations, then they are very, very surprised. Because if you think about a duck, you can't. But actually, if you just think about whatever, you can place these Lego bricks in very different orders. And so that is another way of trying to tell a team that includes management, and I don't know, the salespeople, the marketing people, the customer support, the front developer, whatever, that we see things from different perspective. And when I say build a bridge, we are 33 people that think about 33 different things, and so it's so extremely important to not live in your own little cubicle, but that you open up to the world with a curious mind and say, how, that emoji, how can it be that? And then ask for Christ's sake, why do you Chinese people always do like this? Or why do you Mexican always do like that? Or why do we Danes actually never? Because that would be super beneficial. Maybe if we started to be a little bit more open as people, inviting people in. I just had a phone call yesterday with another person added to the list of people that I have never met before, and that I've only met online through LinkedIn or through the webinars that I'm following right now. And we were talking about how to meet the world with this open approach and ask why. I had an example in mind and then I just quickly forgot now, but we come back to that later. But yeah, at least that trying to understand and ask questions instead of
assuming maybe
and
being
judging,
close-minded. What are you observing? Because I noticed something. I noticed that you are actually observing the different personalities. So they think in a way, and there is a purpose for that. Let's call it a game workshop. But you have I can see that you have maybe another approach to it. You are actually observing the different personalities and how they act. All right.
The point that you want to get to is because these are always aha experiences, and you can upscale them. And obviously in the company that I was working for and opening up in China, this was what we wanted to do. So you start small so that people understand the game, and then you start going into deeper, like more difficult or exercises that trigger more. And but the point is to understand that we all come from we all have different backgrounds. We all have different educations, and that we are all on different maturity levels. And so it's dependent on this package, how you approach the world. And so that instead of just living in here, you gotta open up and then look into people. So some of us are result oriented, action driven, and we love challenges. And some of us are very enthusiastic. We really like the action, but we are mostly oriented towards the people. Like we care more about we love the action, but we want the people to be included. Does everybody feel safe? Is everybody okay? Like, let's get the motivation up. Some of us are very supportive, like the stable working environment, maybe generic work or systematic, or where we don't have to think outside the box all the time, but let me just be here and do my job and create the foundation for the company, the team, the family, whatever. And then both people and a little bit analytic approach, or at least let's try to make processes that we can, like SOPs, that we can use again and again, both as a mom and a worker, like an employer or an employee, or whatever roles we take up, or the analytical person that is very detail oriented, go through things 2 or 3 times, need to really think before we speak, likes the challenge but really wants the numbers and the strategies and the processes in order before we approach, and then to some degree some kind of stability. I like every day 9 to 6. I like that this is my car and it's always here. I like that my pen is here, the coffee is here. I can only be disturbed between 9 and 10, then I need an hour, 2 hours. So we all have different ways of approaching life, and I think, or different behavior patterns, I think I'd say. And I don't get to read many books, unfortunately, but one of the books that has really imprinted a point in me lately was I read it in Shanghai, was the Danish author Morten Albæk. In his recent book, he writes about how we are one person. So I am not company Rikke. Like, I am not professional Rikke and personal Rikke and social Rikke and intercultural Rikke. And I am one Rikke. I'm one person. And so we should stop talking about work-life balance, but we should actually see it all as one. So instead of talking about, can I balance out a little bit here, it's all me. And that we should bring ourselves to work and not take work home, but just, we shouldn't see it as boxes where we are this person and this person. It's all me. So be you throughout everything you do. Then you put on different hats in different roles, but be you throughout the whole process, and understand that there is only one you. That mentally you cannot just say, ring, 9 o'clock, now I'm work, Rikke, and then put the family or the personal issues or the traumatizing things that you are going through. You can't just block that and put it aside. It's you. So having experienced a lot over the past years and things that have followed me for many years, I'm also trying to work with acceptance a lot. Sorrow, sadness, wasted years, people in my life that I feel have wasted theirs or have missed out, or that I take up personally. Like trying to accept this is what has happened, and these are the things that I have learned from it, and that I can hopefully pass on to my friends and network and the people that I will reach out to through wherever I go.
What are the plans for the future?
After coming home from Shanghai, it is very clear to me that I would like to keep a connection to China. I speak Chinese, and I practice every week with my Chinese language partner and best Chinese friend, Joyce. She's in Shanghai, but luckily the internet and the digital devices today allow us to keep in close contact. And so first point is definitely China. On a broader perspective, international relations, which is my area, intercultural communication and education. I think education is extremely interesting and super, super important. It can really take us up levels where we would never have been able to reach ourselves. Others are, from a professional point of view, I would say that's it. From a personal point of view, well-being. I'm reading a book right now called Thrive, and it's very much about how we approach the successful life today, or how we have, through power and money. But what the author is saying is that there is a third metric, and that third metric is well-being. So it's wisdom, it's wonder, and it's one more thing with W, but it's very much about, like, our well-being. So health equals wealth. Like we should see our health as a wealth, and that how taking care of people's health is much more beneficial than taking care of their sickness, or people leaving the workforce, or stress or anxiety, or all the things that can come out of not having been taken care of and not having discovered that you have to take care of you. Back to the we are responsible for ourselves. So if you are at a stage in life where you can see that things are going downwards, take a step back and try to make I'm doing a coach education right now, and first practice was trying to do something called the life wheel, where I draw a heart in the middle, and then I put numbers from 1 to 8, and then these are the 8 most important things in my life, and a part of it is something that you do, and then a part of it is something that you are, and then you also have to have something with a purpose. And when you've listed the 8 values in odd order or whatever order, doesn't really matter, then you ask yourself, what value does this priority bring? So for instance, a relationship with a partner could be safety, could be freedom, could be personal development, could be different types of values. And then you ask, how much does it mean? On a scale from 1 to 10, how important this is to you? So a relationship with a partner can be 6 to some people, and it can be 10 to other people. And then afterwards, let's say mine is 9. So afterwards, I ask myself, so how much do I then prioritize my relationship with my partner over how much I dream about prioritizing it? So we had a discussion last week, and we forgot the cooking classes that we were supposed to do every month, and I think I forgot to help him with what he planned, all these things, and you're like, you end up at maybe a 6, and you're like, I wanted to be 9, but then here I am writing 6 because I haven't done all these things that I was thinking, or we haven't done all these things, or whatever. And so back to keeping yourself like you are accountable. So you gotta look at that number and then see, okay, so if I don't prioritize this as much as I dream about, what does it take to get back to that number 9? And the thing about these exercises is that you walk into it with different approaches because we are different profiles. But the interesting thing is that all types of profiles end up realizing that visualizing it is a whole other level than just being like, oh my God, I told him that he should, or I thought you would, or you said that last Thursday and now you don't want to visit my parents with me. It means something to me that we go to my parents also because we're already short, blah, 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 whatever. That visualizing it just means a lot. And because it's not only one, it's family, relationship with a partner, friends, health, personal development, economy, and then maybe that one thing that is your purpose. Maybe it is creating a family, maybe it is building up your own business, maybe it's something third. What are the values of creating my own family, building up my own business, freedom, like motivation in life, the light, my childhood dream, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how much does it mean to me? It means 10. Okay, how much time do I prioritize? How much do I prioritize right now? 4. Okay, well, maybe that's why you don't achieve your dream, because you're not doing what it takes. And I recently posted on LinkedIn a post that was called Just Do It. Because I am also scared. Actually, I'm terrified about things in life also, and also that I won't achieve my dreams. But one of my bigger dreams right now, but summing up on having lived in Asia over the past 10 years, is to be able to use my story as a starting point to other people that would like to take up opportunities that are being presented to them, that would like to face challenges with a less concerned, more fighter approach, that would just like to expand their life horizon, get out there, meet people, but are a little bit scared about it, because I've been at all stages myself. So I've done a course in how to do webinars, because I started out 10 years ago as an exchange student, worked my way through being a volunteer worker abroad. I did a project in China, a project in Hue in Vietnam, and 2 projects in Palawan in the Philippines. After that, I became an expat. I was sent abroad by a Danish company to open up, to launch the concept in China for them, and then coming back all those times, and especially this time being a repat. So I've hold all titles, and I would like to use those experiences to pass on to people that can find inspiration in them or be motivated by them. And I think through webinars you can have an interaction with your audience while you are on stage, so to say. But it's, for me, having been in a stage stages in front of an audience many times, I'm still nervous about standing up. Actually, public speaking is one of the factors that prevent most people from getting out there. Proven public speaking. That's why you can take so many courses in public speaking online and offline. But I'm behind a screen, but people can watch me and ask questions. How do you find coming back to Denmark when Danish people are... I have a hard time engaging with Danish people because it's a very close community. And how do you feel as a Danish person having lived abroad in an international setting, coming back? Or whatever it might be. I have come back as a Danish person, now I don't understand, or now I see and it's like everybody else don't understand, and how do I engage, and am I normal? Is this normal? I feel sad, I feel lonely, or I feel motivated, inspired, engaged. How do I find people that are like-minded? All sorts of feelings, and they're all perfectly normal. We just have to talk about it. There's no taboo.
And you would love to help with that?
I would love to assist people in furthering their journey in becoming the best version of themselves. That's really my dream.
How can people reach out to you?
People can reach out to me on LinkedIn. So my name will probably be in the text afterwards. And they are very welcome to. What I prefer when people reach out to me on LinkedIn is that you write a small note, either saying where you have met me, virtually met me, or heard about me, or something that indicates that they've actually done it because it's me, and why we should link up. I am practicing virtual coffees a lot right now, which many people are doing. But my approach to it is that I should try to meet 3 people a week that I have never met before. Because that also expands my horizon and keeps a continuous personal development within me. Hearing other people's stories, being touched, inspired, motivated, and then hopefully giving back.
I think they will be lucky to have you with all that experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Like, any last words?
I think just if you have a dream, don't give up, and you might experience many bumps on the road before you get there, but it's never too late, and keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Ask questions,
Yeah,
and you will eventually find your path.
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's very nice.
Thank you.